History never shows mercy to the man who makes poor choices. There are no standing ovations or second chances, only a slow, unrelenting unraveling, and most men don't realize the consequences until they find themselves standing alone, mourning the death of their own potential. Not because they lacked strength, but because they let the wrong person cross the threshold of their life, and they didn't notice the danger she carried with her. No warnings came, no voices cautioned him. Society profits from this blindness, but the truth is simple. Downfall rarely strikes by fate. It is almost always the product of a decision clouded by desire, by illusion, or by misplaced trust. We live in a culture awash with myths about loyalty, love, and sacrifice, but these myths often serve as traps, luring men into surrendering their power in exchange for fleeting affection. The reality is far harsher. True power requires clarity and discipline, qualities that cannot thrive in the shadows of fantasy or delusion. Most people see what's easy to seize: surface beauty, charming words, fleeting gestures, but wisdom lies in looking deeper. It's about understanding patterns, values, and consistency, not when someone is performing for an audience, but when they believe no one is watching. Here's a truth that few dare to say out loud. There are only two kinds of people who enter your life: those who build you up and those who drain your energy. No gray areas, no excuses. Some will multiply your strength and vision. Others will quietly sap your will and steal your focus. The hardest part: many who drain you have perfected the art of pretending to be beneficial. They smile, they praise your ambitions, they flatter your dreams while subtly steering you off course. And if you lack sovereignty, if you do not stand firm in yourself, you will mistake this poison for love. This isn't a call to bitterness or hatred. It's a call to strategy and survival. Without lied discernment, you risk bleeding out emotionally while mistaking your own sacrifice for commitment. Deception thrives because it finds willing victims. And the greatest danger is not the person who deceives you, but your failure to see through the illusion. Beauty, charm, and warmth can be a veil for distraction, for sabotage. In a world that teaches men to worship appearances and dismiss substance, it's no surprise most fall at the feet of what looks right, ignoring what truly is right. True leadership means never allowing your inner kingdom to be breached by emotion disguised as opportunity. A destructive presence does not need to shout. It merely needs to distract you from your path, your discipline, your code. She chips away at your fire by making you question your values. She softens your resolve by labeling your boundaries as rigid or unloving. And before you realize you've traded your throne for comfort, the wise man sees this clearly, as an emotional weapon hidden behind sweet words and gentle smiles. When evaluating a partner, the question is never simply, is she attractive? The real question is, can she stand beside your vision without trying to rewrite it? Can she support your mission without undermining it? This is the test most men never ask until it's far too late. Another fundamental truth: never choose someone who disrespects your authority in your own life. No matter how sweet her voice, no matter how dazzling her appearance, if she challenges your leadership instead of aligning with it, walk away. If she competes with your direction without wisdom, leave. If she views your strength as a threat rather than a refuge, she is not your partner. She is a storm disguised as sunshine. Power is real, and it must be respected. Those who fail to secure it become enslaved by the very chaos they hoped to control. You may believe you can negotiate respect, tolerate drama, or fix things with love, but once you hand over your power, it is no longer yours. Words like compromise and partnership often mask surrender. It is far safer to be respected, and even feared, than to be loved without boundaries. This is not about cruelty, it's about clarity. A man who cannot command respect will lose loyalty. A woman will test your boundaries to find your backbone, and if she finds none, she will resent you silently. She may not leave, but she will stay just long enough to erode everything you built, then whisper, "You changed." No, you collapsed, and she watched. We've been taught that masculinity means softness, that leadership means consensus, that strength means endless compromise, especially with those we love. But the truth is, power diluted is power lost. The moment you allow your authority to be questioned, you have surrendered it. Apologizing for leading or softening your vision to avoid discomfort will never earn true respect. Women, even modern ones, desire to follow a man who is unmovable, not one who bends for convenience. This does not mean being harsh or unkind. It means being clear about your expectations, your vision, your boundaries. If she can shake you with tears, seduce you into submission, or argue her way out of discipline, then you are not her leader. You are her project, her placeholder, waiting to be replaced by someone with a spine. Watch how she behaves when life is no longer thrilling. Anyone can be charming in the spotlight, but what happens when boredom strikes? Does she build peace, or does she stir chaos just to feel alive? True nature shows in stillness. A person who craves drama will destroy your future the moment life demands patience and focus. There is also a lie told by society that a person's past doesn't matter. That caring about it is a sign of insecurity, but your partner's history is the blueprint for your future. Someone who has betrayed others before you isn't starting fresh. She's perfecting her methods. Chaos repeated becomes inevitable if ignored. Never align your legacy with someone who mocks your mission. You are a person with vision, or you should be. Visionaries do not marry lust. They unite with purpose. If she scoffs at your discipline, rolls her eyes at your ambition, or worships attention but disrespects your legacy, she is not an ally, she's an assassin. Restlessness in a partner is no harmless quirk. It often leads to infidelity, drama, and quiet sabotage, disguised as spontaneity. The absence of respect for stillness is dangerous to anyone on a mission. Ignored, this restlessness will eat away at your foundation through emotional withdrawal, resentment, and passive doubt. You've been told her past is irrelevant, but this is a lie meant to keep you blind. Someone who jumps from relationship to relationship values novelty over depth. A history of betrayal is not a call for healing, it's a call for accountability. You are not a savior or a second chance. You are the next chapter in a pattern. Unless you draw a firm line, here's a truth no man wants to hear but must obey. If she doesn't fear losing you, she won't value you. What costs nothing is worth nothing. Respect is rooted in consequence, not abuse, but the fear of absence. Without this, loyalty fades and contempt grows. Stop rewarding disrespect with attention. Stop begging for loyalty with desperation. Stop bending your spine just to avoid loneliness. Power belongs to those willing to walk away, to those who guard their worth, not explain it. Respect comes from boundaries, not apologies. Choose a partner whose presence strengthens your discipline rather than softening it. The wrong one will tempt you to skip commitments, mock your goals, and label ambition as too much. She may smile, but it is treason. A true partner dares you to remain sharp, not asks you to dull your edge. Women test boundaries, not out of cruelty, but to see if you are real or just performing. If you flinch, you lose. Leadership requires walking away when respect is absent. For those already trapped, hear this: it's not too late, but it will cost you. Your comfort, your pride, your time. Ask yourself, what's more expensive, leaving now or dying slowly over years? The wrong partner drains you, and when you are empty, she leaves anyway. This is nature. No sympathy, no exceptions. You are not a side character in her story. You are here to build. What you build will either be fortified or burned down by the person you choose. Weak men attract chaos, mistaking it for chemistry, calling themselves unlucky instead of undisciplined. No one changes without effort. The lie of she'll change is the most dangerous one you can tell yourself. She will adapt only enough to keep you hooked, then revert to the chaos that secretly excites her. You are not stuck. You're addicted to hope. Hope that this time it will be different, that patience will bring loyalty. It won't. You entered a contract where you lose by design. Every compromise to avoid conflict costs you authority. Every silence to keep peace costs respect. History is filled with men who loved too softly and lost everything. The man you must become is the reason she won't survive your future. No person is your purpose. Your purpose is your mission, your discipline, your legacy. A partner may complement or corrupt it, but never replace it. Most men orbit their partner's emotions and wonder why respect fades. Respect grows from orbiting purpose alone. The test is simple. Can she thrive in your absence? Step back and watch. Does she hold the line or fall apart? Your energy is your fortress. Your standards are your gates. Let the wrong person in, and your kingdom crumbles from within. Most men knew she was wrong. They just lacked the strength to walk away. When you put a partner at the center of your life, she tests if you were built to lead. She wants to follow a fire, not breathe your air. Your absence is the ultimate truth. Tell her. Does she stay grounded or seek validation elsewhere? Many never test this, fearing what they might discover. This fear chains them to illusion, not to reality. Your standards are defenses, not demands. They protect you from manipulation, distraction, and decline. A ruler never lets enemies breach the gates. Don't hand keys to those barely known, then cry betrayal. You protect not just your heart, but your legacy. The person you choose either fortifies it or lays bricks for its ruin. The harshest truth, you chose her. Whether by lust, loneliness, or low standards, you let her in. Now you pay the price, but the pain only continues if you keep lying to yourself. The enemy is your refusal to raise your standards, your unwillingness to hold the line when it matters most. Every moment you stay silent in the face of disrespect, every time you lower your expectations just to avoid conflict, you lose a piece of yourself. This loss is cumulative, like water slowly eroding a stone until it crumbles. No dramatic betrayals are needed to dismantle a man's life. Only small, consistent acts of surrender. The quiet acceptance of less than what you deserve, the habitual ignoring of red flags, the justification of harmful behavior. All these things chip away until the foundation you once stood on is nothing more than dust. Men have been told their worth is measured by what they provide, what they conquer, or how much they sacrifice. But the truth is far simpler and far more profound. Your worth is measured by how fiercely you protect your soul. Protection is not weakness, it is the greatest strength. It is the armor that separates those who survive from those who become casualties of their own mistakes. Protect your time, protect your mind, protect your vision, and above all, protect your heart. The heart, vulnerable and open, can become a weapon if wielded with discipline or a wound if handled carelessly. Many men confuse love with surrender. They believe that to love deeply means to give endlessly without question. This is a dangerous misunderstanding. Love is not a leash that binds you in chains. It is a force that frees you to be your best self. True love encourages growth, demands respect, and honors boundaries. Without these, love becomes a cage. It's easy to mistake the cage for safety because it is familiar, but safety gained through confinement is false safety. When you lower your boundaries, you invite chaos disguised as intimacy. You mistake constant attention for devotion and confusion for passion. The early stages of any relationship can be intoxicating, filled with promises and grand gestures, but these are mere illusions if they are not backed by consistent respect and shared values. Passion is not the same as partnership. Fire burns quickly, but it must be sustained by fuel that endures. Trust, loyalty, mutual respect. Watch closely how a person behaves not when everything is smooth, but when the storm hits. Crisis reveals true character. Someone who stands by you when the world collapses is a treasure. Someone who flees or adds fuel to the fire is a liability. Men who have been burned too many times often become cynical, shutting their hearts off completely. But cynicism is not strength either. It is armor made of bitterness. The real power comes from learning to discern wisely, to keep your heart open only to those who deserve it, and to shut the door firmly on the rest. Discipline is the silent hero of masculine power. It is the refusal to be swayed by every whim, the commitment to a path even when distractions scream louder. Without discipline, men drift like ships without rudders, vulnerable to every storm and seduction. Discipline sharpens focus and builds resilience. It teaches you that your time and energy are finite resources, not to be wasted on trivial or toxic engagements. A disciplined man does not seek validation from others because he knows his worth is not up for debate. He sets a course and follows it, regardless of noise or opposition. The world is filled with distractions designed to steal your attention. Social media, endless entertainment, shallow relationships. all tools that drain your fire under the guise of connection. The greatest loss is the slow dilution of purpose, the quiet fading of dreams. A man who does not guard his vision against these forces will find himself living a life chosen by others, rather than the one he intended. This is why the company you keep matters immensely. The wrong partner does not just take your heart, she takes your time, your ambition, and your peace. Many men enter relationships hoping to find fulfillment in another person. But this is a dangerous expectation. No one else can complete you, only you can. A partner should complement your life, not compensate for what you lack. When you seek completion in another, you give them power over your happiness and self-worth. This creates imbalance and dependency, fertile ground for manipulation and control. True strength lies in self-sufficiency paired with openness, the ability to stand alone yet choose to walk with someone who lifts you higher. You must also understand the power of your silence. Words can build or destroy, but silence can reveal. When confronted with disrespect or boundary violations, your response, or lack thereof, speaks volumes. Silence is a form of resistance. It signals that you will not engage in battles that diminish your power. When a woman sees a man who does not tolerate disrespect, who holds his ground quietly but firmly, her respect grows. She knows that his power is not just in his voice, but in the lines he refuses to cross. A man who cannot say no will never command yes. Boundaries are the foundation of respect. Without them, you invite chaos and disrespect. Saying no is not rejection. It is assertion of your worth. It is saying, "This is who I am, and I will not compromise on my core." Many men fear rejection or conflict so much that they sacrifice themselves. This is a mistake. The true risk lies in losing yourself to keep others happy. Masculine power is not aggression or dominance. It is control, calm, and conviction. It is the ability to lead not by force, but by example. A man who embodies true power draws others in through strength and integrity, not through intimidation or manipulation. The right partner is attracted to this power because it offers safety and clarity, not because it demands submission. She wants a man who can lead but also listen, who is strong but not cruel, who is firm but not cold. The tragedy is that many men never learn this. They follow outdated scripts or toxic stereotypes, confusing anger with power or control with respect. This only breeds loneliness and resentment. Real power requires emotional intelligence, a deep understanding of oneself and others. It means mastering your emotions, not suppressing them, expressing yourself clearly, not destructively, and building trust through consistency, not charm. Your partner's respect is a reflection of your self-respect. If you tolerate disrespect, you teach others to do the same. If you bend your values to avoid discomfort, you lose your moral compass. The people you allow into your inner circle shape your destiny. Choose wisely, protect your energy fiercely. Your mission is your priority, and anyone who undermines it is not your ally. Every successful man has faced this test. Will you let love soften your edge, or will you let your edge protect your love? Softness and strength are not opposites when balanced correctly. Strength without softness becomes tyranny. Softness without strength becomes weakness. The goal is harmony. A man who can be tender without losing his backbone, who can love fiercely without surrendering his vision. Do not mistake softness for weakness. It takes immense strength to be vulnerable with the right person, but vulnerability without boundaries is self-destruction. The man who knows when to open and when to close is the man who controls his destiny. This mastery over self is the essence of masculine power. Many men are trapped in cycles of toxic relationships because they confuse comfort with compatibility. Comfort is easy, compatibility is rare. Comfort might mean avoiding conflict or enjoying temporary pleasure, but compatibility means aligning values, goals, and respect. The cost of choosing comfort over compatibility is high, a slow death of your dreams, your confidence, and your joy. A powerful man does not settle for comfort if it threatens his future. He understands that true partnership requires effort, mutual respect, and aligned vision. This is why he is selective, not because he fears loneliness, but because he values his freedom and potential more. You must also understand the role of accountability. No partner should be a crutch nor a scapegoat. You are responsible for your happiness, your growth, and your path. Blaming others for your failures or shortcomings is a sign of weakness, not strength. True leaders own their reality, learn from mistakes, and move forward with clarity. Accountability also means holding others to their standards. If someone in your life refuses to respect your boundaries or honor your values, you must confront this reality. Ignoring it is self-deception. Change requires confrontation, sometimes painful, always necessary. The right partner will not only accept your standards, but will raise her own because she sees your strength as a challenge to become better. This mutual elevation creates a powerful dynamic, a partnership built on respect, ambition, and unwavering commitment. Beware of those who demand without giving, who take without offering, who criticize without building. These are energy vampires disguised as companions. They drain your vitality slowly, leaving you empty and confused. Recognizing these toxic patterns early can save years of pain and regret. True power also means forgiveness, but not forgetting or excusing. Forgiveness frees you from bitterness. It releases you from the chains of the past. But forgiving someone who repeatedly violates your boundaries without change is foolish. Forgiveness should lead to growth, not repetition. As you build your life and legacy, remember this: your standards are the invisible walls that protect your kingdom. The stronger they are, the safer you are. Do not lower them for temporary gain or false hope. Stand firm, even if it means walking alone. Solitude is a small price to pay for sovereignty. Finally, embrace the journey of self-mastery. The greatest power a man can possess is control over himself. Control over his emotions, desires, and choices. This control enables clarity, strength, and peace. It allows you to attract the right people, build the right relationships, and create the life you desire. Remember, no one can give you power. You must claim it. Power is not a gift. It is a responsibility. It demands sacrifice, vigilance, and courage. It requires that you know who you are, what you stand for, and that you refuse to settle for less. So rise, stand tall in your truth, guard your heart with wisdom, love fiercely but wisely, and never forget that the person you choose to share your life with will either be your greatest ally or your most dangerous enemy.